Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Okay, so we're all Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm assuming. Even the trolls that are in here that tell me that Dak Prescott isn't the guy and stuff, they want to see the Dallas Cowboys playing in the Super Bowl. Quite frankly, I do too. And it racks my brain. And really, I guess, for no other reason as I want to come up with solutions. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter what I come up with or you come up with unless Jerry Jones does what we're talking about. And last time I checked, Jerry Jones isn't following my advice. So we're going through an exercise that really just doesn't matter. But it's nice to try and think and listen to different people, because the more people you listen to, the better informed you're going to be, and the better you are at making decisions on what may or may not be the problems. And I hope that the Dallas Cowboys do the same thing, because let's be clear. It's been too long since we've been in a Super Bowl. We've seen teams that have rised and fallen and rised again, and we're still stuck in the mud. And I'm sitting here thinking about a couple of things. That the Dallas Cowboys, their problem is their philosophy. It hasn't been a matter of the Dallas Cowboys getting great players. We've had incredible players. I mean, from DeMarcus Ware and Jason Witten, Tony Romo. We've had DeMarco Murray, NFL rushing champ, Dallas Cowboys single season leader. We've had Zeke Elliott. We've had Dez Bryant. We've had, Amari Coopers. We've had great receivers. We've had great offensive linemen. We've had great quarterbacks. But for some reason, we just don't seem to have the ingredients it takes to win a Super Bowl. And as I started looking through and thinking, it bothers me. And I'm a problem solver. In fact, my friend Alex, who's about 87 years old, started working with him about, 25 years ago, because my brother told him they had a project at the courthouse where they had the plans and they had to build the base for a judge's bench. And they had people that kept working on it and they couldn't seem to figure it out. And so my brother said, oh, my brother can figure it out. So Rondo told Alex, and Alex gave me a call, and I came out there and I looked at the plans and I was like, the plans are wrong. You can't build it by the way they designed. Here's what they need to do to make it right, to make it work. Because you had another company that was actually building the bench itself. You needed the platform, the 3 different elevations for the judge, the jury, and the Kirk reporter and stuff like that, and they were screwed up. But I could see this in my mind, and that's what I do. I am, as Alex calls it, a fuck-up fixer. If it's fucked up, call Mark and he'll fix it. So I'm sitting here thinking back to the problems for the Dallas Cowboys. And there's 4 things typically in the last, few years or so. There's 4 things that you need to have. You need to have at least 3 of them in order to be that Super Bowl team. And we don't focus on these things. What they are is, you need a quarterback, okay? As much as we say don't pay Dak Prescott, you can put anybody out there and they're going to win. That's not the fact. That's not the case. You look at since 2015, the only quarterback out there that you say doesn't have a pedigree was Nick Foles. You need, and this will make DMV really happy, who, he's talking about Pitts. We need to get Pitts, that Travis Kelce tight end. But you look at Super Bowl teams in the last 5-6 years, they all have a great tight end. Not an average. They have a great game-changing tight end. Another thing they have is great defensive tackle. Interior, not edge rushers per se. They'll have good edge rushers maybe as well, but they also have a great defensive tackle. And the final thing is safeties. You don't believe me? Listen, okay. 2015, New England Patriots, Super Bowl champs. They have Vince Wilfork, All-Pro, huge man at defensive tackle. Pro Bowler. Of course, they had Tom Brady, quarterback, defensive tackle, the Gronk in his heyday, great tight end, and Devin McCourty at safety. They had all four. Not wide receiver, not running back, because here's what's crazy. Here's the thing that's crazy about this. It's not wide receiver where we focus. We always focus, oh man, we focus on wide receiver, we focus on running back, we focus on edge rusher. Those aren't the necessary things. They're great to have, but when you go back, listen, 2015, C.J. Anderson. That was running back for New England, C.J. Anderson. 2016, LeGarrette Blount. 2017, Jay Ajayi. 2018, Sonny Michel. 2019, Damian Williams. And if Kansas City wins, Damian Williams. It's not the Barkley. It's not the Zeke Elliott's. These are average running backs. Let's go to 2017. Denver Broncos. Now, this one is a little bit of an anomaly. You still had Peyton Manning. Of course, Peyton Manning wasn't the same guy. They had Vernon Davis. They traded for Vernon Davis, who was another really good tight end, kind of a shell of himself. That offense was not the offense that did it, but that defense was. And that defense had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. They had so many playmakers, and they had the number one defense in football. That one, they still had defensive tackle, had the safety, and they had the quarterback. 2017, New England, Tom Brady, the Gronk, Devin McCourty, and Trey Flowers. They had all four. Although you could argue and say Trey Flowers wasn't that great, but they still had three of them. 2018, the Eagles. Now, Nick Foles that was their one that you can get away with not having. But they had Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, who was great at that point in his career. That was the pinnacle. They had Brandon Grime and Fletcher Cox. And Malcolm Jenkins. Defensive tackle, tight end, safety. 2019, New England again. Brady, Gronk, Trey Flowers, okay? And they had Patrick Chung, another great safety, and Devin McCourty. Look, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Now, I will say Kansas City kind of has everything as far as the offense goes, because they got everything, okay? But they got Pat Mahomes. They got the tight end, Travis Kelce. Safeties, the Honey Badger, who we didn't think was good enough in college. We didn't think he was good enough for us when he was a free agent. Yet he's going to his second Super Bowl in a row. And they also had Warren Thornhill. Warren Thornhill, who was one of three great safeties that was sitting there after Tristan Hill. And we can just say 2021, look at 2020 stats. So as we go through, and if you look at those things that the last 6 Super Bowl champions team, being that if Kansas City wins, that they have in common, they have 3 of 4 things, at least. Great quarterback, great tight end, great defensive tackle, and a great safety. As you look at the Dallas Cowboys, we are lacking. I think Dak is good enough to be a Super Bowl guy. And like I said, DMV, you'll smile about this because, Dalton Schultz and, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. You know who I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I get too much sawdust on it. We have good tight ends, but we don't have a game-changing, take over the game tight end. We don't. Maybe that's our one that we can get away with the guys that we have. But we don't have anywhere near a Vince Wilfork, Trey Flowers type of defensive tackle. We don't have those. And we need that defensive tackle. And by no means do we have a McCourtney or a Juan Thornhill or a Honey Badger at safety. And until the Dallas Cowboys start realizing we need to change the focus to today's NFL, it's not about that great running back. It's not. It's not about that great running back. It's not about just having those great wide receivers. It goes back to the basics of the things that aren't sexy. Defensive tackle is not sexy. Sorry, it's not. It's a big, fat, sloppy guy that's in there doing the work, the grime, the grease, okay? He's a guy like me. He's covered with sawdust. He's battered and bruised. But that's the kind of guy that makes the defense go. As well as having those safeties that are ball hawks, that can say, you're not coming in my backyard. If you do, you're getting your head taken off. And when the game is tight, when your receivers are getting covered, your running back's not there, when your quarterback's getting blitzed, that security blanket tight end that's kind of a hybrid from that offensive lineman and wide receiver that can literally take over a game are the difference makers. It's the Dallas Cowboys philosophy in looking at players. Make no mistake about it. Areas that they neglect, safety and defensive tackle, are two of the positions that you must have. Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, geez. You get old. When you've had head trauma like I have, you get dementia and everything else, okay? They're good players. And maybe they can become really good. I don't know that they'll be there, but, you got Dak if you sign him. But you got to get safety and you got to get tackle. If you don't, you're going to continue to be left behind in today's NFL. It's the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys that's killing them. The Cowboys have had more Pro Bowl players than anybody over the last 10 years. But the problem is it's not Pro Bowl players in the right positions that take over games. And that, my friends, is the difference maker that the Dallas Cowboys need to change. It's the need that you got to have, and you got to learn how to fill it. And if the Dallas Cowboys focus on getting that safety and defensive tackle, they can make all the difference in the world for this team. All right, Joe, that's my thoughts right here. Sorry, it's not earth-shattering or game-changing. It's not one of the sexy mock drafts about who we might get or whatever, but to me, it's the key. You have to figure out the positions that need to honestly be really upgraded. And to me, it's safety, defensive tackle. And maybe it is tight end, DMV. All right, I'm going to go cook some dinner. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.